Hello and welcome to EduCATion Today, a web series hosted by the College of Education at Kansas State University. I am Debbie Mercer, Dean of the College of Education, and this program was created to give voice to important issues in education and to the people who are making a difference. This program offers an opportunity to visit with many subject matter experts, guest speakers, faculty, and alumni eager to share their life experiences and best practices. Today, we are honored to have one such person with us, Dr. Raymond Doswell. Dr. Doswell is Vice President of Curator Services at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri. Not only is he a historian, but he was also a high school teacher in St. Louis. In 2008, Dr. Doswell earned his doctorate degree from our college in educational leadership, and we are honored to celebrate him as our 2015 Alumni Fellow. We are so glad to have you with us today. First, will you tell us just a little bit about your background in education and where your love of history originated?
That's easy. Teachers. I was inspired by my teachers. My social studies teachers in junior high school and high school really allowed me to enjoy history and social studies very much. And then I thought very early on, as a senior high school, that teaching is what I wanted to do. So had the great opportunity to go to college and study to be a historian, but all the while getting my training as a teacher. As an undergraduate, I went to Monmouth College in Illinois. I had great teachers there as well, who really inspired me to continue to do the work, and got involved and was excited to be a high school teacher. As noted, I taught in the St. Louis area briefly, but also had the opportunity to learn about museums and public history through an internship at the University of California, Riverside. And that opened up another way of teaching for me. So even though I left the classroom, I still consider myself a teacher. I just have a big showcase to do show and tell.
Absolutely. Sounds like the best of both worlds for us. So walk through what might happen in a normal day.
Oh, well, a normal day at a museum for me now includes a lot of computer work, managing public media, but also fielding research questions from a lot of different folks, from the young student doing his National History Day project to a filmmaker who is perhaps thinking of doing a film project on the history, or to a family member who's looking for genealogy research on a relative or someone who may have played baseball. And occasionally you will get also celebrity visitors coming into the museum, from athletes to actors to politicians, or just the common folks who come in who are baseball fans who may not know a lot about the specific history topic, but they're interested in baseball, they're interested in race and culture, and want to learn a little bit more. So those are folks who travel from all over the country and all over the world to come to Kansas City and learn about this great story.
So tell us about one of those celebrities and the impact on the museum.
Well, again, one of the great things about living and working in Kansas City is such a cosmopolitan city from the standpoint that you never know who's going to come to town, from entertainers to, as I noted, politicians and others. And the Baseball Museum has become a must-see attraction for a lot of people. I've had the pleasure of meeting, as a baseball fan, a number of great legendary baseball players like Henry Aaron or Willie Mays, or my favorite growing up in St. Louis was Lou Brock. And some of them I've gotten to know really well. Some I've been able to interview as part of oral history projects. And so that's been great, as well as more current players have come through, like an Albert Pujols, who has ties to the region, although he plays in California now, and players like that. But I've also had a chance to meet other politicians. President Clinton came through, which was an interesting time because that was opening day of the baseball season in 1998, and that was not a scheduled visit, so he decided to pop in to the museum. And at the time, a legendary baseball player, Buck O'Neil, who was our chairman of the museum led him through, and I helped lead the tour as well. Mr. O'Neill told the president a dirty joke, which was pretty funny.
Don't repeat that for us today.
I won't repeat it, but he had a good time. And I've met then Governor Bush before he was running for president, and his lovely wife Laura, who was an educator, and he used to own a baseball team. He was a big baseball fan. Colin Powell has been through the museum. Honestly, you never know who's going to walk through the door, and it's been a very interesting time to be there.
Absolutely. I've heard a great deal within the College of Education about our partnership with the museum and in creating electronic curriculum resources. Would you talk a little bit about that partnership and the products that emerged from it?
Well, the partnership began a long time ago as a way of promoting diversity in education. It started with a relationship that the college had with members of the Spring Hill, Kansas School District, and also later on the Lee Summit, Missouri School District, to develop curriculum aids for the museum to give to teachers. And teachers were involved, administrators were involved, college professors were involved, and students were involved in developing these partnerships and products. They included a field trip guide to the museum, which was a paper product, but then became a digital product. And then we continued further in developing other materials, most notably our e-museum for teachers, which through the help of graduate students, as well as professors and some of the administrators, we developed a web platform to meet the needs of the museum that we were having trouble getting information to teachers so that they could really crystallize what in Negro Leagues Baseball is about 100 years worth of history. How do you tackle that in your classroom? And so we tried to put as many resources out there as possible to help streamline that. And so that included timelines, it included biographies, it included photographs of players, it included lesson plans based on regional standards, and clips of oral histories of former players. And the university manages the website. We provide the content. Graduate students and other students help to shape the content and write some of the material. And it really had become an industry standard for a lot of different museums who wanted to be able to provide that level of information to their patrons. But we've specifically targeted teachers, wanting to make sure that they had all the resources, a one-stop shop if possible, for them to get information about this history. And it's done really well.
Very good. I assume you have many student groups led by teachers coming through the museum.
It's our most robust audience, and will remain so, we hope, for years to come. And it's important to maintain that relationship with the audience. And museums are all across the country are always trying to find ways to engage young people. But our target has always been teachers. We're not trying to replace teachers in many ways. We have wonderful content. We think the content is inspirational. We think the content is relevant, even though it's historical. It can certainly be tied to modern topics. And it's sports, which makes it very popular. But the teachers are the artists, and we want to glean from them the best ways to present this history, but to make it useful for them in the classroom. Obviously, coming to the museum can be a fun experience, but we're challenged with, in order to be able to keep our audience numbers up from those groups, these things need to be relevant to what the teachers need in the classroom and the challenges of standards today. And we know we can do that, but we rely on teachers to really to be the ones to make those decisions about what's available. So having the website out there, having an opportunity for teachers to come down, where possible, do professional development, introduce them to this topic, which we believe will be something that can unlock a lot of doors in the minds of the young people in regards to issues of diversity, of history, and just understanding each other in a better way.
Absolutely. I see research coming into that. You mentioned that earlier, research from a variety of audiences, and I'm assuming that research goes beyond statistics, but
Yes.
really delving into the lives of Negro baseball players that made a profound difference on our society as a whole.
One of the things that we have tried to be aggressive about is getting deeper into how the baseball history in particular connects to everything else that was happening in society. Because baseball is very romantic. The sport itself is romantic. It's from the standpoint of, well, it seemed to exist outside of everything else. It was the escape from industrialism and the revolution of race and culture in America. You can always turn to sports as perceivably a level playing field, which it wasn't, as we know, because there was separate leagues for baseball players. But at the same time, people may put sport and baseball on a different level outside of how it fit in society. And we know that that's not the case, number one. Number two, it gives an opportunity for different audiences to kind of to understand the country on different levels. So as I noted, you can do genealogy research through this. You can do understanding of race and culture through baseball. And of course, for different age groups, or folks at different levels of their education, they can, if they have an interest in sport, then this is one way to kind of introduce them to what really was triumphant stories in a time period that was really not the best for America. You know, it was a challenging time period, but folks were able to. The Negro Leagues Baseball kind of exalts a business structure that allow people to perform, to have fun, make a little money in the backdrop of what was really some very difficult times.
Tell us a little bit about your connection with K-State and why you chose a degree in educational leadership.
Well, I admit I kind of backed into the degree, but because of the wonderful partnership that the museum had with the university, it was proposed that, especially by my mentor, Dr. Jerry Bailey, you know, Ray, you're doing this work, you're going to be working with graduate students, you're going to really be leading the content in some of these projects. You know, there's probably a way that we can craft this so that you can get your advanced degree. And I'd been out of graduate school. I'd earned my master's. It was 10 years after that. And I said, do I really want to go back to school? He says, well, you know, you live in Kansas City. You're definitely going to have to commute a little while, but you're valuable to the project. And here's an opportunity for us to craft a degree for you to help you work with what essentially is your real world work issues and challenges that you're doing. So that's how it came about, and I got the okay from my leadership at the museum to be able to take the time to do the work and do the studies. And without the support of Dr. Bailey and my director at the time, Don Motley, I wouldn't have been able to do it. They gave us the time and the energy to be able to do it. It was difficult, but we got through it, and I think we created some great products and also some great dissertations in my cohort.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. In fact, I think it was kind of an innovative approach to a dissertation. Would you talk just a little bit about your topic and how that fit in to a bigger project? Well,
my specific topic was developing evaluation models for exhibitions, with specific emphasis on what I was doing at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And it included interviewing potential stakeholders in our baseball exhibit. That included teachers, that included philanthropists, that included baseball historians, as well as exhibit designers, and asking them about different ways in which we can improve our exhibits to help meet the needs of educators and teachers. And that's how my dissertation developed. And then my friends in our cohort were working on other topics related to things that were being designed for the educational website. That included specific structures of lesson plans, that included universal design for teaching, which was meant to help learners at different readiness levels find ways to work on especially reading issues, as well as the development of Another dissertation was working on web design and incorporating all these materials into the website. It was a great team, include, I should mention their names, Ann Elliott, Carrie Bergree, and Tara Balajan, who all were able to graduate and become doctors, and they're doing well in their careers now as well. All graduates of, and maybe future fellow alumni fellows, I should say.
We're proud of our alumni, no doubt. So what's next for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum?
Well, this is the 25th anniversary of the museum. We're at a stage where we're trying to develop beyond our education website is to have more of a stable place where researchers and educators in particular can come and do work utilizing the resources of the museum. We have long had a project to develop an education and research center. It would be in a historic building near the museum, the old Paseo YMCA building, which has significance to the founding of the Negro Leagues. That building is being renovated with the hopes of having, as part of it, an area where we can have the materials housed for researchers as well as teachers to come and work. That's the big project. The timeline is still kind of in flux, but we're moving closer to a day where we can really solidify that. And as the anniversary approaches, we continue to want to do outreach to teachers. We want to continue to outreach to students and hope to continue to keep our numbers up as far as visitorship with those groups. I know we want to be aggressive, especially in the Kansas City, Missouri area, to make sure as many students as possible can have access to the museum. We've been fortunate to work with them and other school districts around the region to accomplish that. So we continue to work on that, continue to try and increase our numbers and continue to tell this story, which we know, as I noted earlier, will inspire people, will allow for an entree to discussions on race, which are important in these days more than ever. If we can help facilitate that in any way, we want to be the leaders in that regard.
I assume there's a standing invitation to visit the museum at any time.
Absolutely, and if you can't, you can always go to our Facebook page and our website as well to get information not only about what's happening at the museum, but there could be other baseball or Negro Leagues related events all across the country that might be in your community that you can join or follow.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Oh, it's just been an honor to be here and be named an Alumni Fellow. Haven't been on the campus in a little while, and I'm very pleased to see the progress that's being made here. And it's been great meeting with some of the students already, and I hope to not be a stranger and come back soon.
We hope that as well. Thank you, Dr. Doswell.